a piece of cottonwood bark, and we're continuing a series of projects that are relating to a book that I read called Shackleton, an effort to absolutely, totally bore to death. That's the goal, and I think I'm doing that because I've recommended the book to 3 or 4 people in the last week, Shackleton, and it seems that people aren't interested in old shipwrecks, and I just can't understand why. But anyway, it's a really it's a really great story. Shackleton's is he made a voyage to the Antarctic in I think 1909, early 1900s, and sort of failed, but in a very interesting way, a horrible way. He became trapped. And so here's a picture of Shackleton, and I'm not sure which character this is, but this is him post adventure, for nearly 2 years, 21 months. Basically living on icebergs with 20 some odd men, close to 30 men. And this has inspired a series of carvings that are, again, themed around the shipwreck kind of idea. And so I've been enjoying that. I've been having fun with it. And so I just thought I would include you guys on this little adventure, little journey. Hey, Royce Timber Art Techniques. So per usual, I appreciate you guys joining this little demonstration. And I don't know, I think that so I started this one on last week's live stream, and I just thought I would show you this quickly so you get a sense of what the finished piece looks like. Oh, here we go. I'm plugged into this contraption, so it's moving my camera around. See, the production quality of these is, I think that's the reason most people come, because I'm a producer. What can I say? So this is the piece that I believe this was the one that I did on the live stream. I could be mistaken. Of course, now my tripod. See, now my tripod's misbehaving, so I gotta fix that. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I thought this turned out pretty well, and I was happy with the context of the lighthouse in the background. I think it's fun. It turned out to be give it an interesting character, and so yeah. So again, Shackleton's series. This is one of but it's a nautical theme, and it gives me a little bit more freedom, if I'm being honest, to carve what interests me and what's enjoyable, instead of just slaving to the individual characters from this journey. Which, although there's some interesting people in here, and they'll definitely be inspiring the characters. So yeah, looking through old footage, looking through old videos of the show. Don't worry. Look at this. So not the best. All right, there we go. We're back on par here. So we try to do this 10 a.m. on Mondays, every Monday. And I enjoy it. And I appreciate you guys joining me as well. And let's see, is the internet good? Of course it is, and I'm connected to the wrong internet. Give me just a second. Okay, should see an improvement in the Wi-Fi now that we're connected to shop Wi-Fi. Always have technical issues in this shop. I don't know why. I've invested in the finest of routers, the finest of internet connections. I still have issues. Probably because I'm the one setting them up. Anyway, these comments are just absolutely flowing. I can't keep up with them all. So, wow. No, feel free to comment below. All right, let's do it, guys. Enough sarcasm, huh? Enough sarcasm. Oh, the internet connection seems sketchy. How about now, Roy? Is it better now? Is it resolved? Has it resolved? Is the internet better? I've connected to the Wi-Fi in the shop. Let me know in the comments below if the Wi-Fi is okay. Because I can't watch the live stream. I guess I could. Let's see, what if I pull it up? I wonder how that would work. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to watch this. Turn the volume off, obviously. Let's see how much of a delay that's on. All right. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. Let's get this carving started, guys. Wi-Fi aside. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do something inspired by this photo. So this is a Shackleton's crew here. I think it was 27 men. Might have been more or less. Some of them, not all of them. But it's really fun, these hats they had. So maybe I'll do one of these fur hats. One of these wild-looking fur hats. Pretty cool. Or a penguin, maybe? Yeah. Raise that up a little bit. Get the hat in there. That's going to be fluff in here. This is cottonwood bark that I'm carving in. Yep. And give him a little beard. All right. I'm going to establish the fuzzy hat. Hey, Peter. Looking forward to your Shackleton series. Thank you. He says these works are so inspiring. That's awesome. Hey Mithun. Hey Jekka. I'm Brazilian. Can you learn this gorgeous art? Yeah, so I'm actually in the business of teaching this. So I have an online school. I should have linked it in this description. I will link it in the description. When I get off of this. So it'll be in this video, but it's in the description of all my other videos. If you want to see some free content, there's plenty of that on here too. So if you don't want to, you know, shell out some dough, you can check out the free stuff I've got on here. But if you want to, you know, realistic portraiture is something that I cover in my online school in depth. And yeah, so you can check that out. And I'll link that. It's called Fundamentals of Wood Carving. You can look that up, or you can look up my name. Ordered your book, but won't be released until July. Yeah. So there you go. A little ad for the book. Thanks, Roy. I've got a book coming out on doing this, on carving faces with Fox Chapel Publishing. And yeah, it's a really fun little project that fairly sizable project for me, on all of the shapes and details that go into the realistic face, and really breaking down you know, the things that I've been attempting to convey for the last, you know, 18 years of carving. So very proud of that. And so you can order that. I'll link that in the description below as well, so you can see that. There's my advertisement. Now all of you left. Okay, it's fine. You guys hate me, don't you? Yes, so that'll be good. Looking forward to that book coming out. Thank you, Mitham. Am I self-taught, or did you go to college for this? Yeah, I'm self-taught. I went to college for other things and didn't enjoy those other things as much as I enjoyed carving. So, and I had been doing it when I was in college. I had been doing it years before I started, when I was 12 years old. And it's really been like the main job that I've had my entire childhood and into adulthood. And so by the time I was in college, it was a pretty hard sell, you know, to get me on any other path. Really, I thought of it as a backup plan, college. And I thought of it as a way of kind of bolstering the weak points of my education, or the lack of care that I had in high school. So I just sort of treated it that way, and kind of helped me with some reading and writing stuff that, you know, I kind of sucked at. Mostly math. I was already fine at reading and writing and English, but, you know, some grammar things that you forget when you aren't in school for a while and you're not writing a ton. So anyway, point is, I went to school for many different things and didn't graduate. I have I'm like 3/4 of a way to a bachelor's, and credits wise, and so yeah, I've just carved my entire life and enjoyed it, and that's really important to me, is that it's something that I enjoy. And so yeah. But I was thinking of you the other day. Saw a guy sculpting a hand for an amputee. Looks so real. Thought it'd be something you'd be interested in. Oh wow, very cool. The cracks make the final art even more beautiful. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I agree. The cracks can make things interesting, and it reminds people that it's, you know, this is a tree, guys. It's like this is a tree. It's not a piece of perfectly formed sculptor's medium, or it's just a piece of material off of a tree. There's nobody processing this, nobody selling this at an art store. It's just an old piece of material from a tree, right? This is bark, and that's neat. To me, I feel like that's what interests me about it. Is it's raw and natural, and it feels more authentic in some ways than other mediums I've worked in. Or at least more earthy. Maybe that's the right word for it. I don't know about authentic. I will add to your pitch. I recently became a student in his Fundamentals of Woodcarving School. It's well worth it. Also, Alec's recent YouTube basics videos are an excellent start or refresher. Cool, yeah. I've just finished one and it's going up right now. It should be up. Let's see, is it up? Let's see. Not up yet, but it should be going up any minute now. It's just going through a check here. But that reminds me, I needed to make a thumbnail for that. But yeah, I do a lot of instructional material on carving the realistic face, human face, and I've been working on a tutorial for folks. Here, one second. Thumbnail on the female nose and the female face in general, eyes, nose, mouth. So that's available on my channel here. Eyes, nose, mouth. Female face, male face. Done the male already, doing female. And these are just like really simplified versions of it, knife only type things. You know, they're not like rehearsed. They're just very simple kind of guides to achieving the shapes that you're looking for, that you might be looking for. That's just my interpretation of it. So, you know, there's a lot of great carvers on YouTube. So a lot of great versions of it, but you know, I kind of take a more naturalistic approach, which is another fancy way of saying realistic approach. And so if that's your flavor, if that's what you're after, then check those out. And thank you, Peter. I do appreciate it. Kalimera from Ontario. Yes, Kalimera. That means good morning in Greek. Hello from Ontario, Canada, Alex. Close, it's Alec. I hope you and your family are blessed. Thank you. The goal of this piece is to kind of capture a character from Shackleton's expedition with the Endurance, the ship known as Endurance, and it's a failed journey that he took to the Antarctic, and you know, spent 21 months there in search of, well, the latter part of that trip was in search of civilization because they failed at their journey and ended up having to survive off of penguins and algae and random thing, whatever they could find. Once their stores went, I mean, they had to eat their dogs. It's a really horrible and sort of inspiring tale in that these guys were able to survive. And so I guess that's a spoiler alert, but yeah, I won't say any more in case you guys want to read the book. It's called Endurance, and it kept me up at night. One of those rare books that you get that you just can't put down. And I literally would stay up till 2 a.m. or I'm sorry, till 12 p.m. With my audio, with my earbuds in, so I wouldn't wake my wife listening to this. One of those books. I recommend it. So it inspired this series. And so this is going to be an old, or, you know, ship dwelling man with a nice fur cap. Nice thick fur cap. Does cottonwood exist in the South Hemisphere? That's a good question that I'm not sure of. It's worth giving that a Goog, though. A Google search. I would. Grandpa Google. Starting to make a Graham Man birdhouse as well as a wood spirit birdhouse. Do you have any tips on carving leaves? Well, as with anything else in carving, you want to start with the form before, you know, like my tendency always is to add the detail way too soon. So look at a leaf, go outside, handle a leaf, and look at the shapes that it has, and if there are any folds, represent those folds. If there's a curve, represent the curve. Then start adding the veining detail. Focus on the shapes first and then the details. And that'll kind of be the struggle for sculptors always, is to nail that form first before they add any detail. type your name properly, but the X and the C are right next to each other on the keyboard. You're good. Honestly, I end up, my autocorrect still autocorrects my name on Google. Just started doing this recently, actually, to Alex. So I've sent emails out where it autocorrected to Alex right before I sent it. So I guess I don't know my own name. So I've just got an old blurry photo to work off of, but sometimes that's nice because it leaves a lot more to imagination, and you can play with things and make stuff up. And that's nice for a freestyle carve like this one, where you don't necessarily need it to look like somebody. You want it to be kind of inspired by somebody. It's not a portrait per se, an identical portrait. What's up, Stormbringer? What's up, dude? I did the rainbow trout from your video. Such fun. Hope you had a coffee handy, bro. Thank you. No coffee yet. Well, I've had a coffee today, but yeah, I actually started one in the house and I forgot about it. So thanks for the reminder. I'm using a combination of old English tools, some Austrian, Swiss-made, American-made tools. All various manufacturers, some in business, some not. The ones still in business are Stubai, again, Swiss-made or File, Flexcut. Those are some of the ones that I'm using in here. And yeah, they're good tools, all good tools. Thank you, Laura. If you slip from the chisel with the chisel and gouge, the piece would restart. Incorporate the gouge as intentional design or blend it pending on the severity. Yeah, I mean, all of carving is improv, and so you kind of have to roll with the punches per se. So yeah, there's a whole lot of that. There's a whole lot of oh no, this broke off. What do I do now? And it's a response. Um, yeah, and that's good. And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Just taking a quick second to look at an image here. 1 second, guys. 1 second. All right. I'm good. Cool. Yeah, so there'll be a video coming up today after this video is live. After I'm done with this video, rather, there's a video posted about carving the female nose that I just made this morning. So if that's something that interests you, check that out. Hey man, do you source your wood? Yeah, I do. Typically I find it. I go every year, I go out west, and the last couple years I've not made it out there. But yeah, I definitely would like to. I've just been buying it as of late because just haven't made it out yet this year. So from a friend though, not really from like a distributor of bark, sadly. So I don't have a great reference from my perspective, except for I used to use BC Cottonwood bark. They're a good source. Would recommend them. Theirs is a black cottonwood. It's slightly darker than this, a little stringier, but very large, bigger than this, which is great. If you order the big stuff, that is. If you order the large or extra large, it's massive bark. I live in Massachusetts and just realized I can probably yoink scrap from all the orchards. There you go. Yoink scrap. Do you ever use stones to sharpen chisels or just a strop? No, I do not use stones. I use sandpaper, sandpaper-based sharpening systems. God bless you too, Mark. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ryder. Appreciate you guys. Have you ever had a major injury from a chisel? No, the worst injuries I've had were from chainsaws and chainsaw attachments, or carving burrs, power stuff. Really, carving tools have never led to stitches, and I've never really cut myself that severely. And so it is funny when people in the comments really come after me about hurting myself. I've been doing it for 18 years and still have not really done that. So sure, there are cuts, little cuts, nicks and such, but never anything too severe. That's not to say it's not possible. I mean, I know folks who have literally cut appendages off with carving tools, or had near appendage removal, because I don't think you're cutting through bone with a knife, but it can really be dangerous. So keep those tools sharp and you're a lot better off. My brother had to get stitches because he used a chainsaw to cut his arm. That's Ryder. Ooh, this is fire. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hello, Ruslan. Hey, Elias. It's good to hear from you, dude. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. He said it's looking great. Have your carvings ever spoken to you in your dreams? I left the eyes undone on a carving, and it came to me in a dream that night and said, "Yo, you got to do my, you got to do my eyes." Are you serious? No, that's never happened to me. That is cool, man. That means you. I've felt sad about the fact that I've never had a carving come to me in a dream. I've wanted that to happen in the past, but it still hasn't happened, and so I don't know. We'll see if it happens one day, hopefully. I can't say that it for sure hasn't happened, but I can't think of any instance, so not conscious of it. But that's cool. It means you care about it. It's haunting you in a way. It's kind of neat. Cool. Thanks for following, Ryder. This is not maple. This is cottonwood bark. Mumi says, when I was little, my stepdad was using a chainsaw. The chain came off and wrapped around his arm, cutting him right down to the bone. Luckily, they were able to save his arm. Ugh. That's horrible. Glad he's okay. If your carving currently blinks, I suggest you pack up and dip, dude. This type of craftsmanship has always intrigued me. Blue and Green Slack says, I see it a lot at Ren fairs. Cool. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Yeah, I don't see a lot of carving at Renaissance. I mean, I think I've seen some carving at Renaissance, at our local Renaissance fair. There was one booth I remember seeing. I don't know if it was in wood or clay, though, now that I think about it. Yeah, I was surprised. I thought I'd see more carving at our local Ren Fen. So, what's up with that, guys? Come on, Michigan Renaissance Festival. Somebody's got to get in there and fill the need. I have that kind of tree in my backyard. Cool. Hey, Dave. Much respect. I use a knife and micro tools. Interesting to see how similar different techniques are, and also how different they are. Yeah, I don't know that I have. Yeah, somebody reached out and said, do you think your technique is impaired by the type of wood that you carve? You know, in other words, do you think you have poor technique because you're used to carving woods like this one? And I said, I think I responded by saying probably, because I'm so used to carving softer woods that, you know, when I do carve harder woods, I do have to retrain myself a little bit, or like recalibrate to the type of movements that wood can handle. And so, yeah, you just get used to something, right? And before you know it, you do something with different material, and then you can't scoop quite as easily. You can't pull the same stuff off that you would otherwise pull off. The tool behavior changes based on the material. Absolutely. Absolutely. So whatever you're most used to will, well, be what you're most used to. For sure, obviously. All right, let's see more comments. Justin says, Alec, you and Doug have had a massive influence on me. Just wanted to say thanks. Have had a massive influence on me. My pleasure. Can't speak for Doug, but my pleasure. He would say, my pleasure as well. Hello from a fellow Michigander, says Dennis. Ziza says you're really good. I don't know, maybe I'm saying that name wrong. Cook Family says hi. Who am I making right now? I'm making a character from one of the greatest expeditions and shipwrecks of all time, called the Endurance. The ship was called Endurance, and the man who headed it up was Ernest Shackleton. And it's a book called Endurance that I read that inspired this series. So, Ryder says he makes sculptures out of clay. And some duck says, I don't know about y'all, but that man looks so sophisticated. That's cool. I'll take that. Obviously talking about me. I get it. I've been carving for a year, very much so. Precise cuts in hardwood is satisfying, but softwood feels so good in its own way. That's right. And gracias. Duck says, well, not really you, but you can take it as that. No, I knew what you meant, Duck. Why'd you have to go and ruin it for everyone else? No. They feel bad now, so they're saying, your voice is so crisp as just baked. There we go. I'll take that. Your work is really good. I always watch your program. Thank you, Win. And Strophium says, I started during the pandemic, mostly whittling. It's funny, everyone else started carving during the pandemic. I probably did less carving than I normally do during the pandemic. I was working on another project. Knife design. How can I purchase one? Yeah, so I'll link in the description my website. And you can click any one of those website links, even to my online school. And then through that, you can navigate to available work. The tab is called available work. And I have a release that happens once a month, typically at the beginning, the first or second Friday of the month. And so that should be coming up in April, whatever the first Friday of April is, or second Friday of April. I have yet to post it, but you can also go to the contact me page and sign up for updates. And I email out an update to folks. I'll link the contact page in the description below for this video as well. Because I think that's a better way, easier way for people to get updates about things. And I really rarely post, so I'm not like spamming folks, just whatever's going on at the time. At least I don't think I am. A couple times a month, it seems like. Well, other events as well, I update you on like workshops, classes, that sort of thing. So you might get something a little more than that. I've got one spot left in my June class. I've got a workshop, a portrait carving getaway happening in June. And you can also check that out on the website, which is aleclacasse.com. Right there. There you go. There's my advertisement. Thanks, Rowdy Rogan. Says that's a cool job. Keep up the good work. Can I see your face? No, you're forbidden to. You sound like the Diamond City radio host from Fallout 4. Cool. Thanks, Charlie. How can I purchase one? I already answered that. Your work is really good. Okay, cool. We're good. We good. Victor says, I'm your biggest fan, Rogan. What, Rogan? What does that mean? Oh, Rowdy Rogan. Okay. Are you married? Hey, Ryder, yeah, I do. I am married and I don't have kids yet. Nope. Do I have to look up Rowdy Rogan's account? Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, dang. Shout out to Rowdy Rogan. Look at this, 1.8 million subs. That's awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, Santa Claus. No, not Santa Claus. I could see that, though. My favorite thing about carving is when the mental state swaps over from imagining what's there to like, oh, there you are, buddy. Let me get you out of there. Yeah, that's a good point. Strophium. Hi, I watch you every day. Wow, thank you, Classy Chickable. ASMR, yeah. If I wasn't talking so much, it would be. Can you give me a shout out? Yeah, I just did. Wish I had your talent. Man, you guys, there's so many comments here that it's hard for me to keep carving. You're hopefully finishing this today. I really want to see you finish the eyes. Not sure about that. This is ASMR. It is kind of ASMR, yeah. This is ASMR. Not do the voice. Hey guys. Today we're gonna be carving. I don't know. It's annoying. Have you ever carved something for someone that made you feel emotional? Wow, that's a good question. Man, I love that question. I don't... Made me feel emotional. I think many of my carvings, when they work out, which is not every carving, but when a carving works out, I feel emotional. I feel in a mostly in a positive way. It's not so much a sentimentality or that I don't know that I've ever had like a tearful moment where I was like, I don't know, moving to that extent on my behalf, having been so involved in creating it. That'd be kind of, can you imagine? I'm just so amazing. But no, there's always emotion associated. In some carvings that I finish, I feel so excited about, and I feel excited to show people those projects. And yeah, I feel like a little kid who just drew a picture and wants to show his mom. Yeah, so I think that's something that happens more often. A specific story. I do remember being a kid and carving a homeless person, maybe 17 years old, 18 years old, and I realized that I actually, this could turn into something. Like I was good. I realized I was good at carving, and that was very impactful carving for me. So it was the emotion would have been excitement, surprise in a way too, because I didn't really feel all that good at anything growing up in my early teenage years or early tween years, I guess, because by the time I was a teenager, I was already carving. But by the time I had finished that one at age, what was it, 17, 16, that homeless dude with the old top hat, I felt like, man, I might have something here. And yeah, it gave me some identity as a teenager, and which is important because we all know how insecure those years can be for most of us, for many of us, maybe not all of us. Some of you cool kids out there, you didn't have any of that, which is great, but yeah, there's a lot of insecurity associated with teenage years for most people, right? Hopefully not, but at least that's the case for me. Was the case. I'm now nearly 30 years old. Give me another month and a half, or a little over that, a couple months. I'll be 30. So yes, I am married. I'm married nearly 2 years now. Anniversary is coming up in August, to a very wonderful person, a beautiful lady named Annalise. And she is a counselor, studying to be a counselor. And just graduating in a week. So very excited about that. Less than a week now. This is absolutely minted. Mate, thanks. All the best from Scotland. That's a fun comment. I love that. Are you preserving any of the bark? Oh yeah, all that bark around the exterior will be framing this piece. That's kind of the fun of using these pieces of wood. If you would buy someone else's carving, who would it be? Or have you ever bought anyone's carving? These questions are great. I was thinking about this. What artist would I want to buy art from? If I could buy art from anyone. And I don't know that I came to a conclusion to one individual. I mean, I know there are a handful of people who I'd love to own art from. As far as carvers go, I'd love to have a Fred Cogilo. I think that would be awesome. And he is definitely a huge hero of mine in terms of carving, and a really genuinely nice dude. And if I had something from him, I would be totally tickled. He's awesome. Who else? Patrick Burke would be another one whose work it would just be awesome to have something from him. He is just beyond good. An absolutely mind-blowingly good carver. You should look him up if you haven't already. Patrick Burke, B-U-R-K-E, I believe. Happy early anniversary. Thanks. Beautiful artwork. My father and grandfather are master sculptors on all materials. Wow, beautiful. That's great. Cool family to be around. I don't know that I've met a family of sculptors before. I can't think of that, at least. Maybe I have. I had a piece fall out. I gotta put that back on if I can find it. Of course, I have a major mess here now. I don't know if I'll be able to. That's not it. Typically, if something starts moving like that, I try to save it before it falls, because in a pile of chips like this, that's a difficult task. Let's see, can we get along without it? Yeah, I guess so. Thank you very much, BB, or Bibi. Here's a question. What the heck do you use your chips for? I have a wood chip path on the way into the shop, actually. So I do that. Did I find it? No, that's not it. Okay, it's going to be a little longer than this. It's going to have a flat spot. Goodness gracious, not very big. For those of you just catching up, I lost a piece off of the carving, and I'm trying to find it. That's all. Will I find it? Probably not. Is that a huge deal? No, it's not the end of the world. Might be able to glue something in like this. I'll try that. Let's see if I can. see what we can do here. Sometimes it's quicker just to find a scrap and make it work. In India, we have a saint called Shirdi Sai Baba. I'm saying that so wrong, but sorry. He says his face resembles him. This is Rohit. Thank you. Oh, Attorney Bailey says he would love to have an Alec LaCasse carving. Thanks, man. Well, you can do it. Since you mentioned you're married, has your wife ever tried carving? Assuming she wasn't a great carver. She has. Yeah, she has tried carving. When we dated, she came with me to a workshop I taught in Nebraska, and she ended up being a very good carver. She doesn't carve a lot, though. That wasn't like her thing when I met her. She is a good carver, yeah, no doubt. There we go. You can't really, it's hard to see the fix because it's this angle that we're at, but yeah, I'm happy with it. Pretty good fix. You said it right. Oh, that's cool. Have you or would you glue laminate different shades of wood together to create a unique carving? Never done that. Would I? Yeah, I guess so. It's not a bad thought. The form it'd be nice if the form was simple enough to show off the layers, and that would make for an interesting project, I think. Cool. We're making our way through. I'm going to probably end this video shortly, but I do appreciate everyone joining, and it was a lot of fun talking to you, hanging out, and chillaxing, relaxing. We had a famous YouTuber, gamer, join us today. That's cool. Always like that. A young lad. Oh, the Rowdy fam. So they're a family of YouTubers. That's cool. Anyway, do you ever get burnout? Doug Butterfield. I do. I get burned out. But it doesn't happen to me as much lately or anymore because I have enough going on, like different types of projects going on, that I still feel excited. If I don't feel excited for one project, I can always move to another. And that helps prevent burnout for sure. Otherwise, it feels like work, right? So I wasn't always that way, though. I really had a hard time with switching from one project to another. I felt like I had to finish one before I started another, but no longer. I love that feeling now of having multiple things going. I don't mind it at all. Thank you, Elliot. Thanks, Alex. She said, calming energy, feel of sorts. That's cool. Who are you making? Abigail asked. I'm making a sailor from the Endurance, from this ship called Endurance. It sailed in early 1900s, like 1909, I think, or maybe 1907, and attempted to voyage to the Antarctic and sort of failed in that attempt. but was stranded for 2 years, and talks about the journals of these folks, including Ernest Shackleton, writes about this experience that they all had, and it was incredible turmoil that they went through, but the spirits stayed pretty high for the most part, and while considering their circumstances, made for a very interesting book. Couldn't put it down, so it inspired the series of carvings I'm doing. So, one of many little carves. Let's see. I was going to show you one, but I lost his pipe, so wonder if I've already stepped on it. Let's see, where did it fall to? Hopefully it didn't fall in the chip pile. That would be a huge bummer. That would suck. Anyway, here's one from a previous live stream. He has a pipe, but I'm not sure where it is. Where did it fall to? That's my question. I'd say I'd look for it later, except for I don't want to have to find it in pieces on the ground from when I stepped on it during this live stream. Oh, here's a good reason to keep your floors clean, guys. Right? Keep those floors clean. I'm just looking for that piece. Looking for that sailor's pipe. Well, I guess if I step on it, I step on it, right? The show has to go on. Show has to go on. What on earth did I do with that pipe? All right. I guess we'll look for it later. Thank you for sharing your process. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Alex. Elliot, how many things have you made like this? Portraits, faces in wood, hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands. Because I've been doing this for many years. Yeah. Demi says, this is so ugly. Yeah, it's ugly right now. It's kind of the way it goes. Alex says, hope I see you again soon. JFC, how many pointless live channels we have to go through to find a few. It's ridiculous. Gunter says, this stuff is awesome. Duns heads have entered the chat. I really want one of your carvings. Yeah, well, I do a release. You can check that out. Stephanie says, rustic, love it. Thanks. It's getting there. We're about an hour into it to this carving, so yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along nicely. It's a fast. This one's coming along quickly, actually. Typically, it takes a lot longer to get a nice setup for a carving, and we're pretty close to a good setup already. So that's good. Rovan said, I tried doing this with a piece of wood. It failed massively. It looked really bad, but I was happy that I did it. Awesome. Daniel says, I wish I could do this. You guys could do it, for sure. I have lessons online about carving faces, free videos on YouTube, and stuff for beginners as well. And there's a lot of other people online teaching. So, well, a few others, not a ton, but Paul Bunyan, Ulysses S. Grant, laugh out loud. It looks like that, yeah. It's supposed to be... it's a character from the expedition. I keep saying it, but the expedition of Shackleton and his men to the Antarctic. It's starting to look like Shackleton, actually, which is wasn't the goal, but I've got his head so firmly planted in my brain, even when I'm looking at these other photos, he ends up coming out. It's funny. That's spot on. Thank you. I do have a question. What is it? What's like the consistency when you cut into it? Because I've debated on getting a piece. I just want a heads up. It's very soft. It's a little flaky depending on the piece you get. And so it's unusual if you're used to wood and not cottonwood bark. But it's a pleasant experience. Some people don't like it, but most do. So I think you'll have a good experience if you have nice sharp tools. It responds well to nice sharp tools. It's sort of crispy in the way that it sounds crispy. You should make someone from the Titanic. Oh, funny you mentioned that, Elliot, because I'm reading a book right now about Titanic as well. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't remember. Yeah, that's that'd be a good one to add to this. Thanks for the suggestion. I love it. I love when people spout out with really good ideas like that. Because sometimes something's too close in front of you to think about it, doing it yourself, and then you get the cool idea, and you're on your way. Ideas are so valuable. People underrate the importance of a good idea, I think, for a YouTube video, for carving, especially for me. Right? Ideas are so important. So the idea that some people aren't open to those thoughts that other people have is baffling to me, because you're missing out. You're missing out on some good stuff. That's my TED Talk. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Revan says, you don't have to worry about that. I sharpen my tools obsessively. They're freaking scalpels. That's awesome. You're going to have a lot of fun with the bark then. Yep. Okay, guys. Thank you, Death, by the way. I don't know if I missed your comment, but appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to tune out. I think, what has it been? 67 minutes. I might go for a couple more minutes. See if I can't get a little more done here. And then bounce. Get on to other things in the shop. But I do appreciate you guys joining. And it's been fun. I'll stick around for a little bit longer. Looks like a dad. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Do you sand it at all? I used to sand a lot more. I don't sand as much. Usually at the end, I'll do a little. That's it. I just watched the video at the beginning. You are a magician. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see how my YouTube video is doing here. I've got a new one coming up on whittling the female nose. It just came out. And yeah, it's been live for a little bit. It's up. So go check that out. Should be a helpful video for those trying to learn about carving noses. There you go. Female noses. How about that for a video? Sorry. Distractions. I guess you got to get used to that if you're watching videos from me. Or I could just not do that. How about that? It is a live stream after all. See you on the next one, or maybe the one after that. I don't know. See you, Evan. Thank you, Tyler. He says, looks great, man. Amazing work. Sharon says, slightly charming. How do you make a living? How do I make a living? I sell these carvings. That's a big part of it, probably most of it. And then I also teach, which makes up probably half of that, or a little less. Or now, who knows? I guess it could be pretty even. I don't know, but no, it's still half and half. Well, I'm trying to think now. No, yeah, it's still more selling carvings than it is teaching. It took me a second, back and forth. But yeah, so I do both of those things. That helps make a living. Can you show your face? There you go. If you're ever up to it, it'd be funny as if you do a wood sprite, but it's Red Dead Redemption themed. I don't know a lot about that. I'll have to look that up. Red Dead Redemption. It's a video game type thing. Hey, Moses. Oh, Welter. He says, want to try carving, but my drawing abilities are so bad. I spent a good section of time yesterday trying to draw some birds for my mother-in-law, and I failed. And so I'm not particularly good at drawing either. I can draw faces fairly well because I'm used to the forms, but carving is such a different a different thing. If you're not good at drawing, definitely don't write off carving. It's a totally different experience, in my opinion. I think it's different enough. You'll enjoy it. All right. It is dusty in here. I can smell the dust in the air. See you, Elliot. See you guys. Thanks for watching. Well, I don't know why I'm saying guys. I guess just Elliot. Who knows who else is leaving? I'm not leaving just yet. Getting there. Wrapping up shortly. Slightly Charming says, heck yeah, thank you. How do you know what price to put on your carvings? I've experimented over the years. I've been really, I talk about pricing, I talk about business, I talk about this stuff, but then I wasn't really applying the principles I was talking about. And so, for years, I had the same price. I mean, up until a couple of months ago, I've had the same prices on my carvings, my original carvings, for like 10 years. And it's embarrassing. I wasn't placing a proper value on them. So recently, I've just kind of realized I'm 30 years old. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years. So, a lot of experience, and I can increase my prices on my work. It's hard to say how you can price your work, because your work is just largely the summation of your experience, the time invested, the effort, the love, and the care. Are you putting your heart into it? Are you putting your mind into it? Your craftsmanship, your skill, does that level up to par? And if you can answer those questions honestly, then you can command a good price. If you're starting out and you're new to carving or new to art in general, maybe painting or drawing, I think it'd be odd to, start pricing things in the hundreds or thousands of dollars, right? In the high hundreds, I should say. Low hundreds maybe. So yeah, why not? But for me, starting out, it was a different world 18 years ago. But I was selling things for $20, $25, $30 when I first started out, and eventually $70. Remember my first $75 piece of a mountain man? It absolutely blew my mind that I was able to command that much money for a carving. It felt like highway robbery. I felt terrible. I mean, I'm making that up, but it was a shocking experience, and $75 was huge. So now, I charge 10 times that for a carving like this or more. And that value is something that you have to attribute to your carving, with years and years of practice and effort. And each carving I make has 18 years of experience behind it. It's not just one carving that took me 4 hours or 12 hours. The average bark carving, to refine one, will take me 3 or 4 times as long as it does just to get this blocked in. So this may have been 2 hours, but the reality is that, it's going to take me an additional, depending on how detailed I go with this, a few hours to finish it up. So, but it isn't just those hours, is my point. It's not just the time invested in the carving, it's the time that you've invested into learning the craft. And so that's what people are paying for, is that experience level. So I know that's all kind of vague and philosophical. I don't really use an hourly rate premise for my work. I've just kind of incrementally increased the pricing over the years, and sometimes delayed that. Like I said, in this case with original work, I've just really failed at it. I've been great with commission work, but just with original stuff, it's hard to see the value in your work. And so I've had to just sort of say, all right, well, this is what I'm charging. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, I'm happy to keep it. And, that drives you to make better stuff too. So. I don't know, there's a consistency of width along this brim, this hat brim, that I'm not achieving here. So I'm going to try and, it just looks kind of like a knit cap. I wasn't trying to do the knit cap. I'm trying to do a fur cap, but the texture will help too. The change in texture will help, but I just want to make sure that this is looking okay. Jacket collars coming up. hollow around that. Oh, a little flake there. Not what I wanted, but that's what we were talking about earlier. So you'll see how that affects the carving in real time now. Had a flake off the top of the lid. Have to bring this other one down. XG37. Yeah, does look like a Norwegian sailor. Stephanie says it looks like one. Like a Scandinavian sailor. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. This is probably the farthest I've gotten in a carving on a live stream in a while. That's over an hour and a half of carving time. So anyway, thank you for joining. Once again, I'll link the my website in the link below. You can learn about my classes, my whereabouts, where I'll be selling carvings. I'm selling stuff online. We'll also be selling at Arts Beats and Eats in Royal Oak, Michigan, as well as I'll be in Rochester at Arts and Apples for an art show there. So thanks, Phil. So that's that, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Mondays at 10 a.m. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. See ya. Thank you, guys. Take your vitamins.